Over here, players can sit down in these seats over here. Zargon needs to sit at player 5. So if I'm playing Zargon, I can put my name here and say Zargon down here at player 5 because Zargon already plays last after all of the heroes. If I'm not playing Zargon, I can stand up from this seat and I can say maybe I'm going to be playing in the first position, so I might be playing Heath, and maybe I am playing the Barbarian. So I like to put the name and also some type of abbreviation of the character. That way people know what my name is and which character I'm playing. So if I'm playing the Barbarian, I can take the Barbarian card and also the broadsword card, because I start with a broadsword, and put those down here in my hand. Now, we're able to track body points and mind points here on screen without having to track things physically on a piece of paper. So as you can see here, I've got BP and MP. So if I'm going to be the Barbarian and I'm starting in the first player's position, then I know that I start with 8 body points and 2 mind points. So I can say 8, just clicking over here on the plus, 8 body points, 2 mind points, and then as I lose them during the game or gain them during the game, I can use plus and minuses to adjust my numbers over there, and I don't have to worry about writing anything down. Well, what is this red and blue marbles over here? Well, these are optional for you. I designed them just as a way to know exactly what your attack strength is and your defense strength anytime during the game without also having to write things down, because your attack strength and your defense strength might change as you have spells cast on you or as you get new equipment and weapons or defensive shields and helmets and all of that. So, for instance, the Barbarian, we know, has an attack strength of 3. So I've got some extra. I've got a stack of 16 red marbles down here. And if I drag these up, I can indicate to myself, as a reminder to me and everyone else, that I have an attack strength of 3 and I have a defense of 2. While we're looking down here, you may wonder what these green indicators are. I've got green marbles here. These aren't anything in particular. They can be used just as indicators to place anywhere on the board. Sometimes Zargon might need to indicate, if you search for a trap, where the trap is, or players might want to indicate that on the table, or if they need any other type of indicator. I just have these green marbles that you can set on the table anywhere that you want as any type of indicator that you want, you need to use during the game. These down here are gold coins. You may want to record your gold coins on a physical sheet at the end of the game, but if you find 50 gold coins, for instance, you can drag out 50 gold coins, and then you can put 50 gold coins down here in your hand if you're the player who has discovered the gold coins. So you can keep track of everything that you've got physically on the screen. Here's the little token for 5 gold coins. Of course, they're different colors. I've got copper, silver, gold, and maybe platinum or electrium for 100. But those are for tracking the amount of gold that you've got. From game to game, you will need to write down what kinds of equipment that your character has to be able to take that with you to the next game. We're playing by the honors system here, so if you collect loot in one game, you need to record what your loot is before you close out of the game, and then that way you can, when you sit down at the next game, you can recreate the kinds of things that you have. Some people have been taking a screenshot, which I think is really an easy way to do this. If you just screenshot the screen at the end of the game, that will be a great way to save all the equipment that your character had if you've used things like cards and also the coins to track how much equipment or what equipment and how many coins you have or gold coins you have. Over here, I have all the different monsters as well as the tokens for the game board. I haven't found it necessary to put the monsters inside Zargon's hand like I did with the furniture. The furniture definitely needs to get off the board. There are a lot of things in HeroQuest, and so in order for the board itself not to be cluttered, it's good to put as many things that aren't being used in Zargon's hand as possible. That way Zargon can draw them out as you go. But I haven't found that's necessary with the monsters and all of the single space tokens over here, because they seem to fit pretty well inside this black area and are easily accessible to everyone. So I have icons for skeletons right here, zombie, mummy, goblin, orc, that's abomination or femur, chaos warrior, the gargoyle, and then the chaos sorcerer as well. So as you can see, these are also stacks of tokens. So I have 6 different skeletons here for you. If you drag one off the top, well, then you've got a skeleton you can put wherever you would like on the board. If you need to move the entire stack of skeletons, of course, click and hold on the number 5 in that case, or in this case, let's come over here to the all 6 of them to move them around. But you really shouldn't have to do that, because they're all stacked over here for you when the game begins. Likewise with the blocks, blocked passage right there, blocked passage. Also with secret passage right there, you can put that down. Some objects are rotatable. For instance, let's say you've got this secret door right here, but this secret door really needs to go out into this hall over here, this double hall. Well, if you right click, if you hold down and right click, you can turn objects. And so in this case, I'm going to rotate the object to 90 degrees. And as you can see on the table now, it's rotated to look like it's going into this hall. Some objects, like cards, you never need to rotate a card in HeroQuest, so cards aren't rotatable. But if it's something that you do need to rotate, hold down the right mouse button and then drag around in order to potentially rotate it. I already have doors that are set up this way. Here are doors that go in the horizontal direction, and then here are doors that go in the vertical direction. They're already set up like that, so you can just drag them right off the side of the board and then put them on the table. If you need to indicate open or closed doors, which obviously you will in HeroQuest, just click on it, because like a card that you flip over by clicking, just click on it and it will become black. So the brown indicates the door is closed, the black indicates the door is open. And of course, you don't close doors in HeroQuest, but you can open and close doors here. If you click on it, you go from black to open to brown to closed. The staircase will go someplace in the very beginning of the game where Zargon will place it, so that gets it off the board and into its, or it gets it on the board in its correct location rather early. Over here on the side, I have all of the dice. So these are of course, they're the red dice, except for they're white here. The movement dice, and they're also used for some spells. If you click on any single die, it will shake it up for you and give you the result. You can, if you're trying to move, heroes move according to 2 red dice often. Well, you can click both of them. I do have this button over here that says move. If you just click move, it'll shake up both dice for you. So you can do it in one click. So if because of a spell, you might need to roll a single die, just click on it. But if you're moving a hero, just click move and it'll shake both of them up. I have all of the combat dice over here on this side of the board. And you'll notice that I have a stack of dice here and then a line and then a stack of dice down here. And I did this for the attack dice up here at the top and then the defend dice down here at the bottom. So if you attack with 3, just click the top 3 dice. 1, 2, 3, and there's your attack roll. In that case, I rolled 1 skull. If I defend with 2, if Zargon is defending with 2, then just click down here. Oh, Zargon made no defense. If I were a hero, I would have defended with 1. So just click the number of attack dice you need, and then the other player can click the number of defend dice. So you can always see, that way you don't have to reuse the same dice, and it'll be clear what the attacker rolled and what the defender rolled. You always just start from the top and then roll your number of dice that you need. I have the monster deck here. That's very handy. Often easy to put out on the game board someplace, the particular monster that's out there, because the players are supposed to be able to reference this. And also Zargon can reference this as well, just by hovering over it, and they can see the monster stats. So anybody who needs to reference the monster deck, it is over here for you. I also have the chaos spells. Zargon can pick any chaos spells that he or she might need for the game, and then put all the rest of the spells in a discard pile. Often I use the unused chaos spells as the start of a discard pile anyway at any game. I also do have equipment cards right here, so if anybody needs equipment cards, I've got cards with duplicates. As you can see, that's a lot of bracers. I intentionally did duplicate cards for any card that players might need duplicates of, because more than one player might have them. That's why you'll see a couple of plate mails there. Let's see, dagger over here. So if you need equipment cards toolkit, you will find equipment cards over here in the equipment card stack. Zargon can look through them. If you need to spread them all out, putting them down in your hand, I found is Zargon makes it really easy. It spreads them out, and then that way you can just run your mouse down them and find out which cards you need. I've got something similar over here with the artifact deck. Zargon will need to look through the artifact deck in order to pick out any artifacts that are needed for the quest. And also, if another player has an artifact from a previous game, that player will need to be able to get out or be handed the appropriate artifact card for reference during the game. If Zargon takes all of the cards and puts them down in his or her hand, you can see they're all spread out on the bottom here. And then you can just glance through with your mouse and look for different artifacts down here. Orc's Bane, the Wizard's Cloak, Borin's Armor, Spirit Blade, all of those cards. Then you can put them out on the table for somebody to get. Now, some of you may have already noticed that things like the Potion of Defense and the Heroic Brew aren't actually artifacts in the original game system, but I made some as artifacts as well for this online version, because we've always played that if you found a treasure in one game, then you get to take that treasure with you to the next quest. So if you found a Potion of Defense or you found a Potion of Healing and you didn't use it in one game, you get to take it to the next game with you. But for the next game, you want to be able to completely rebuild the treasure deck. So a treasure deck has 24 cards in it if you're playing the standard game system. So that way the player doesn't have to actually go and find the heroic brew and actually be short a heroic brew for the next game in the treasure deck. The player can just tell Zargon, oh, I've got a heroic brew from last game, and then they will find an extra heroic brew card in the artifact deck. And I did put an artifact back on it. That way you don't accidentally think it's a treasure card and end up with a wrong distribution in your treasure deck. But that's why I added some extra things here as artifacts. That way, if players have extra potions of healing, like this is the potion of healing from the treasure deck, you can give them a card to indicate that at the start of the quest while still having the appropriate number of all cards in the treasure deck when the next game begins. I think that's a pretty reasonable overview of basically how you use this system to play HeroQuest. We have used this online before to play HeroQuest, and in fact, you can watch us play. So if you want to see this system in action, you can watch us play on Dinner and a Board Game, the Dinner and a Board Game channel. We used this system to play live. Although be careful, there would be spoilers in that game if you haven't played the particular quest that we played. I believe we played the quest for the Spirit Blade online, live as part of Dinner and a Board Game. But that will also show you how the system is used to play HeroQuest. So you may want to check that out or not if you want to be able to play that quest online using this system as a game and don't want spoilers, because it wouldn't be fair if you already played or watched the quest being played if you were to go play it later. But also, if you would like to be able to play HeroQuest on this virtual tabletop inside the coffee shop, I've got a link below. Click the link below to be notified when the whole thing goes live, and then we'll see who's interested, and then we'll get together and we'll host an event and we'll play some HeroQuest. So if you want to play, click the link below, and if you have questions or comments, please put them down below, and I'll respond.